Hi there, and thanks for joining me here at Julie's Forgiveness Corner. I'm Julie, and today we are beginning a journey of forgiveness. On our forgiveness journey, we will meet some interesting characters, have talks about the thoughts, feelings, and behaviors of storybook characters, and reflect on some of the people who might be in need of our forgiveness. We will learn all about forgiveness. Whether or not you have learned about forgiveness in the past, this will be an exciting journey for you. In today's lesson, we will be learning together about what forgiveness is by talking about it as a class. You will be learning that forgiveness always begins with an unfair hurt. You will learn that when one forgives, resentment and anger begins to fade, and the heart begins to soften toward the person who caused the hurt. The person who forgives often becomes ready to give the gifts of kindness, respect, and generosity toward someone who has been unfair. In this lesson, we will learn about Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, and the building of character. These three philosophers, perhaps more influential to Western thought than any other philosopher, lived in ancient Greece about 2,500 years ago. How many of you have heard of the philosophers Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle? They lived in ancient Greece over 2,000 years ago. I had said that these three men were philosophers. What is a philosopher? Very good. A philosopher is many of those things. And they are also people who have a love for wisdom. Do you know what wisdom is? Absolutely. Wisdom is many of those things. Wisdom is to know what is true and what is false. To have wisdom is to know right from wrong. When a person has wisdom, he or she has good judgment and does not do irrational things. For example, suppose a man who cannot swim sees a dog in a raging river. Is he showing wisdom if he jumps into the river to save the dog? Philosophy is the search for wisdom. Plato, who lived in Athens, Greece, about 2,400 years ago, was the student of Socrates. Plato, in seeking the truth of who we are as human beings, said that we all need to grow in character. Part of character is to grow in what he and Aristotle called moral virtues. What is a moral virtue? Very good. A moral virtue is many of those things. It is striving after what is good and right, and avoiding what is bad and wrong. We can grow in the moral virtues such as kindness, respect, and generosity if we practice them every day. All of these are examples of moral virtue. Plato thought that the most important virtue is justice. Do you know what justice means? Very good. Justice is many of those things. It is the seeking after fairness, trying to give each person what he or she deserves, what he or she has earned, and what is coming to him or her. Teachers, if you have access to a whiteboard or a blackboard, now would you mind writing something for me? Please write moral virtues. Then, across the board, write the names of the 4 central virtues: justice, wisdom, courage, and temperance. We already discussed what justice means: seeking after what is good and right, and avoiding what is bad and wrong. We already discussed what wisdom is: knowing what is right and wrong, and practicing good judgment. Now, who can tell me what courage is? Yes, very good. Courage is being brave in the face of danger. It is going ahead with something that is good, even if we are fearful, such as going to the dentist to have healthy teeth. Who can tell me what temperance is? This one might be a little more challenging. Temperance is being in balance by not overdoing or underdoing other virtues. For example, how can you get out of balance with courage by showing too much of it? You can make bold, irrational decisions and put yourself into danger. If we have too much courage, then we are not temperate. We are not balanced. When we are temperate, we show the right amount of courage or justice, or kindness, or generosity, or mercy. I now want to discuss with you a moral virtue that is connected to forgiveness: mercy. Do you know what mercy is? Yes, mercy is giving a person more than he or she deserves, such as giving money to a poor person. It is loving someone who seems unlovable because of a bad temper. It is going the extra mile with someone, even if it is uncomfortable for you. Forgiveness is one example of mercy. We sometimes give it to people who don't necessarily deserve it. Thanks so much for joining me for this lesson. I hope that you'll join me for a discussion session for what we just talked about together.